Yo, yo, yo. What's good, everybody? This your boy JTL, opposite from the norm, back with another one. Uh yeah, so I'm gonna be waiting for Pink Book Lessons to go ahead and join the live. So my main reason for doing a show like this is because I felt that, you know, she's one of those good sisters that, represent for the other good sisters that's out there. You know what I mean? Because nowadays it's like we don't really have too many sisters that really step up and say something. You know what I mean? And it's sad. You know what I mean? But it that's just how it goes. You know. But at the same time, on our side as brothers, a lot of times we don't hold our sister down like we should and step up and say something because I remember there been times where it's like talking to certain other people, they would say, sometimes you just mind your business. And it's I get it, you know what I mean? I get it. It's nothing wrong with, being like, I gotta focus on my own life and, try to do the right things. And how can I say something about somebody else if I'm not making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Trust me, I totally get it. I totally get it. But at the same time, I think when people start coming out saying crazy things about other people that might actually be good people, sometimes you do need to stand up for what's right. Like, for example, when you hear certain women say that, brothers ain't doing what they supposed to be doing, and I get some of the gripes, you know what I mean? I'm not mad at it. I get some of the gripes where things happen and it's like, you know, when it's anecdotal though, that I think that's where it's an issue, right? When you put stuff out on people and make it seem as though that's everybody, and that's not everybody. Not everybody is, you know, a terrible brother. You know what I'm saying? In that same time with sisters, not everybody is a terrible sister. You feel me? So it's like it's not cool. You know what I mean? It's not cool. So us as brothers, us as me and my partner, you know what I'm saying? We stand up for what's right and do our best to, what I'm saying, stand up for the good sisters out there. So, like I said, I feel like a sister like Pink Book, you know what I mean? She's one of those sisters that stand up for the good brothers, you know what I'm saying? And she represents the good sisters. So, like, you know what? Let me reach out to the sister and, get on the show and let her, and just kind of talk to her and highlight her to this audience, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's some good sisters out there, you know what I mean? So I got to bring her up, you know what I mean? Let it be known that just like me and my partner, you know what I'm saying, and the things that we talk about where people may misconstrue certain things when we say certain things. They're like, oh, you talking like this and this. And it's like, you got to understand something. When they call somebody misogynistic, I mean, you hate women. And you got to realize something. A lot of dudes in general don't just hate women. It's not that they just sit there and they just hate women. No, it's just like, yo, we giving some of our gripes and how we feel. You know what I'm saying? And stuff that we've been through with women, unfortunately. So I don't think it's nothing wrong with saying how you feel. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with that. So, but at the same time, if we don't be able to express ourselves, that's where you would get a Kevin Samuels coming from. That's why his content is so popular right now, is because, you know, a lot of guys aren't able to say what they feel and the things that they've been through. And you know what I mean? So that's why you'll get a Kevin Samuels saying what he says. And that's why you'll get me, JTL, saying what I say, or my partner HD. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's just what it is. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean you hate women. What up, HD? I see you watching, boy. What up, Chaz Tally? Appreciate y'all coming through to show some love, man. Appreciate y'all, brothers. So like I said, I'm just waiting for Pink Book Lessons to come through. You know what I'm saying? So we can go ahead and have this dialogue and talk about some of the things. As you see on the screen, one of the things we're gonna talk about is Uncle Boyce. That's gonna be one of the things. Also Nick Cannon. Also, we got Maria Taylor and the whole Rachel Nichols thing that happened. Then Sha'Carri Richardson, we're gonna have that talk about that situation as well. And then also I want to get her thoughts on Kevin Samuels, for as like everybody thinking that everybody just agrees with him. You know, I watch this stuff and I agree with a lot of things they said, but I want to kind of talk about the stuff that I don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? So that way, you know, everybody's not like 100% like, you know, agreeing with everything somebody says. Then it becomes an echo chamber. So you got to be able to have like real dialogue, you know what I'm saying? And then you'll be able to actually be human. You know what I'm saying? So we want to go. I'm gonna go ahead and ask her those questions, that thing of the nature. You know what I'm saying? So until we get her in here, you know what I mean. So I'm just running my mouth a little bit. As all, just running my mouth a little bit till she get ready. All right. So take the meat, spit out the bone. Yep, you right. That's how you supposed to do it. You know what I mean? Just like they say, uh, take certain things with a grain of salt. You're not gonna agree with everything somebody says, but you try to get some knowledge from some of the things that they say. And you know what I mean? Like, can you tailor it to your own life? Does it make sense for you? Does it not? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it may be certain things you just got to change in your life that you can't necessarily do, you know what I'm saying, that somebody else does. But like, it's just like getting knowledge from a millionaire or something like that, somebody who has a successful business. They might be successful in selling clothes and you want to be successful in the lawn service business. You know what I'm saying? You can't take everything that they say literally. You know what I mean? But it's certain things that you can get that make sense. Like, if you want to have a successful business, you got to grind hard to be able to go get it. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to do that. So you still can get some kind of knowledge from somebody else. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to that. All right. Um. So what else? Y'all, excuse me. Y'all bear with me just for a second. Want to make sure everything is good. Y'all bear with me 1 second. All right. HD, man. Send a cash app to the show. Support the show, man. Send me a cash app, man. Show some love. Show some love to your partner, man. Send your boy a cash app. All right. Go ahead and send me a cash app. All right. So I'm gonna go to, actually, I want to start out by talking about Sha'Carri Richardson. You know what I mean? And that whole situation that happened with her. So what's crazy with that situation, come to find out, you know what I mean, they went on ahead and just like decided to not let her run. And she was saying that, you know, she's still gonna come back stronger than ever. And I hope it does work out for the sister, you know what I mean? God bless her. I hope it does work out for her to come back stronger than ever. But at the same time, one thing that's like really been bothering me with her is the fact that she has this whole redundancy mindset that a lot of our young brothers and sisters have, and giving shout outs to the haters all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about anybody else, but that's kind of getting annoying to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, everybody's not talking about you failing and not wanting to see you succeed. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not doing that. So it's sad that she always talking about that, but that's not necessarily the issue. You know what I mean? So, all right. So, okay, we got Pink on here. I'm gonna go ahead, bring her into the live. So y'all chill out. Hold on for a second. Let me get Pink up in here. Hey, what's up, Pink? How you doing? Think you might be muted.
Hey, I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. There you go. I can hear you now. Hello? Uh-oh. You must have muted yourself again. I can't hear you. All right. Y'all bear with us for a second. She's trying to get her audio right. Hello?
I think I'm here. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Okay, how you doing?
Oh, great. I'm full. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad you made it in. I'm glad you made it in. All right, so we can go ahead and get started. But first, I want to, like I said, every time, well, a lot of shows I do, I always give you a shout out and a few other sisters because I think y'all make great content. Y'all represent for real good, true sisters. You know what I'm saying? And you're able to not really be biased. You know what I'm saying? You're able to have a good balance
Mhm.
and like your analysis on when you talk about stuff, whether it's brothers or sisters. So I kind of want to just ask you, like, from your origins, where that, what I'm saying, where that comes from. Like, I'll give you like a quick example from myself or whatever. All right. So I grew up in St.
Mhm.
Petersburg, Florida, which is like 20, 30 minutes away from Tampa, home of Tampa Bay Bucks. Um, and in that city, it was kind of like the normal black city. You got issues and things that you deal with, but you try to, make good. So I ended up later on in my life, like my early 20s, running to my mentor, Mr. Herbert Murphy. Shout out to him. And he had a Boys and Girls Club, and we worked with at-risk youth, but it was also like a arts theater. So we had dancing, studio, like acting, all types of stuff in there. But he taught me how to, work
Mhm.
within my community and the young brothers and sisters and try to have them see a great direction. But the thing that always bothered me was when I would see, brothers and sisters not really doing what they should for their kids, not being at meetings sometimes and not really speaking to the counselors
Mhm.
about things that was going on with their kids. So it made me focus on trying to be positive to the youth. And then growing up, also, I just, not having the pops around like that made me want to be a better man. But at the same time, I see with our sisters not doing things right and our brothers not doing things right. You know what I mean? So that's kind of reason why we make the content that we
Mhm.
do. So, maybe you can give a little bit of your origins and what makes you make the content you make.
What really made me make the that I make is, well, first of all, I want to say thank you for for always shouting me out, and any other woman that's on the same path with me,
Right.
more than that. So I appreciate that for sure, because I know a lot of time you hear a lot of women, they may be speaking differently, talk about situations like this, they may be biased, or or they just can't understand the side of things. But what really got me into this space or this content was watching people in situations, and how people reacted to stuff. And I don't agree with that. Like, I don't agree with that. I've always
Mm,
been like a this type of person, so so that part bothered me. On top of that, of I've seen a lot of the 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 things that we're talking about, like in the community. I've seen stuff. Like, so when I hear people say certain things, it's like, wait, no, that's not really true. It's really like this, or not, we want to admit it or not. And that's honestly just wanting to be the person to tell the, you know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, definitely. So,
So
like, okay, so
that's what got me into the truth. Mhm.
okay. So I want to ask you, all right, so I want to kind of get into a couple things real quick. So with the Shakiri, I swear when I look at her name being coming from where I come from, that would be Shakari, not Shakiri, but Shakiri Richardson.
Mhm.
How do you feel about her situation? It's like it's unfortunate to hear a mother pass, and then they keep saying biological mother. So I'm like, was she adopted by her grandmother, or somebody? Because I don't get why they separated like that. But how do you feel about her situation and like how she carried
Yeah,
herself?
I'm thinking.
And like how she carried herself.
Yeah, I'm thinking her name should be Shakari. Like, every time I see it, I want to say Shakari, but yeah, Shakiri. Um, her grandmother is her the person who raised her. So I'm assuming that her mother was not hands on, that she didn't have a hands on mother, and she probably didn't have a father either. So when you have kids grow up like that, they parents who are stepping in to take care of them. So obviously there's some issues there with her growing up. Now as far as her situation, it's, you know, one, she knew not to use those type of substances. So I'm not trying to say that or take up for her and say, oh, you know, you should have known better, or you know, she's some kid who just didn't know. Grown woman, like she knew she wasn't supposed to um have those substances in her body. But I also think that those rules, they should be looked at and possibly changed, because you know, it's kind of hard for you to have marijuana legal in a lot of different places. Um a lot of different places use legal, and then is, you know, you can use it for recreational uses, and then you have other places where it's not legal, and then, you know, it's just really murky it is, and I think that that should be changed for sure. And a
So
lot
you
of times
think
they like to target actor.
so you think
Mhm.
that they should be able to use marijuana, you know what I mean, for, well, I mean, of course, medicinal, and you get your license for it. So you think that they should actually look
Mhm.
into like changing it?
I think they should. I really for one, marijuana is not a performance enhancement drug. It's not going to allow you to perform better. And to me, it's no different from maybe calling your system, or even taking a Tylenol or something like that. I don't really think is a bit of a deal. I'm not a smoker or anything, but I still, it's a big deal, you know. And I think that in 2021, for them to still testing these athletes, football players or basketball players, all of them are still taking these tests, you know. And I don't
Gotcha.
think that they should be, you know, doing that. That's all.
I, I mean, I feel like, it is. I guess it's supposed to be like a mind thing. Like, we gonna show that the best athletes, you can be your best without taking any type of, drugs or anything like that. And I get that. I respect that.
Mhm.
But it's just like, all right, so I pray that the young sister be able to succeed. But I kind of want to talk about a mindset about it, because I think it's getting kind of redundant that we hear a lot of our young brothers and sisters say, shout out to my haters, and with that whole attitude. But it's like, who would hate you enough to want you to smoke weed so you can mess up? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you saying somebody set you up to smoke weed? Like, that was your choice, your decision. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like the whole neck
Mhm.
snapping thing when I was watching the Today interview that she did. And she was just like moving her hair around and just looking like somebody said something that she didn't like. I kind of want to ask you about your opinion on that. I
Mhm.
don't know her personally, so I'm not trying to judge on that. But how do you feel about sisters kind of like that? She got the orange hair, she tatted up. I understand the nails is kind of like the FloJo thing, which I'm cool with. But how do you feel
Mhm.
about her having like kind of like that ghetto like vibe that she gives off? Like, do you think that's a good thing for us? You know what I mean? Or do you think that's a bad thing?
Well, I've never I didn't see that video, but from me, for one, for her to go on a television show or any publication, or you know, media, she needs a publicist or something, because the first thing she should be doing is taking accountability,
Mm,
and she shouldn't have an attitude. It's just not a good look, not a good idea to do that. Like, she should come and say, you know, well, first, you know, apologize to my community and everyone else for disappointing everybody. She knew the rules. She should at least say, you know, I know the rules and I know it. But to come off with an attitude like, oh, my haters and all this other stuff, um, that's not the right way. That's not the right way to approach the situation as well. And she should at least come, when she's speaking about it, she needs to speak with remorse, take accountability,
mm.
just for the public's sake, you know. But this whole attitude and the orange hair, when I was like, okay, well, you know, she's really weaved up and she's giving off this masculine energy, very masculine. Like,
Yeah.
she has these wigs, you know, no different from the Cardi B's and the City Girls. You could tell who she is influenced by this generation of strippers and everybody
Mm.
else. You can tell every single woman. And that time, people will say, "Oh, it's the ratchet girls that's like that." It's a lot of women, even your professional. She's an educated woman. She goes to what, LSU? She
Mm-hmm.
goes to LSU. She has a degree, or she's at least working on one. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure
Oh
about it. I
no.
don't know much
She's
about her,
she's
but
actually she's actually finished.
oh,
Like she
okay.
graduated.
She has a degree and everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I believe that, a lot of women, they are influenced by these rappers, basically. Even, you could tell by their hair. Like a long time ago, like in the 90s growing up, or I would see certain women, wear hair in a certain way, and you would know what the fashion was if they had an orange wig on,
Oh yeah.
green wig or a blue wig. You know exactly what they did. They either a stripper or in some type of streetwalker or in some type of sexual work.
Oh yeah.
Like that's not a normal woman. A normal woman wouldn't do that. But now, normal everyday women adopting that uniform. Even the ones who are not in that industry. You have your entrepreneurs. You have your who may have tattoos underneath their clothes. They're all doing it. And I think that it just shows that she's influenced by that group of people. She's been for sure.
And that's the thing that's tripping me out now, because I seen the one video you did. I forget the sister name, the one that's worth like what 15-30 million or something like that. She couldn't find a
Talking
man,
Wellington.
and yeah, and it tripped me out because like she got a BBL, and the attitude, and I'm just like, all right, I'll tell you this. Like, so one day I made a video about this real quick. So one day I'm driving and I look to the right, see this nice Maserati, like probably like a 2019 or something. And I see black hands kind of through the tent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, it's a brother or sister. I'm like, that's what's up. Like, I commend my brothers and sisters when they do great. So next thing I know, she leaned her head forward and she had a bonnet on her head. And I'm like, wow. So you mean to tell me you driving around in $100,000 car with that mess on your head? So now it's like they all into the business world, and I totally agree with you. Like, I'm a young old guy, I guess you could say. I was born in '84. So I remember growing up in the '90s, and like you said, you can tell the difference. That's just like a tramp stamp. You can tell what it was, and women knew, like, nah, you
Mm-hmm.
don't get that because you know what that signals. So how do you feel with that happening? And then when Ayanna Van Zant says what she says, now you hear young women disrespecting their elders. Like, they don't want to even hear it no more. Like, how do you feel about the change from, like, how we grew up in the '90s where you respected your elders, and now these women are going to be in the business world everywhere with the shower caps on their head and disrespecting even their female elders?
Mm-hmm. Basically, whenever you had Monique, when she came out and said what she said, I supported what Monique was saying. I believe what she said. At the end of the day, when it comes to women, especially Black women, um, we represent each other, whether we like it or not. I know we like to look at ourselves as an individual when we only represent us, but we represent not only ourselves, but our families and our communities and Black people. So I said that to the women. I agree with Monique, and I saw how nice she said it. People, it's not about what you said, it's about how you said it. Well, she was very respectful. She was very nice. She was very
True.
sensitive because she knows how Black women are. She said what she had to say at the end of the day. And so when it comes to listening and getting direction from the older women, a lot of younger women, they don't like to listen. These days they don't have the same rights that they had before. And that's because respect, it's about respect, the lack of respect in our community as a whole, that people just don't have for not only themselves, but for everybody. And a lot of that is prevalent now because I believe it's the way that everyone, or a lot of people, they grew up. You know, when you had the fathers come out of the home and you just had the women there, some where kids learn, there wasn't any order basically. If you don't have any order and you don't have, then your kids grow up, they don't respect people that's within their homes. They go outside the home, they don't have respect for anybody. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And Stormy is a great example of your modern boss chick. You
Right.
know, they think that nothing else really matters besides getting a bag at this point. They said, well, I don't need a man. I can go get the money myself. And this was started too, decades before our generation, before Stormy's generation as well. This was started long ago. Now we're just seeing the really bad results of and the impact of what all that did to our community, basically.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. That's just like, so to go to our uncle Boyce here. He it's funny, like his situation worked out for him, and that's great. You know, God bless him and his union. Great. But with that
Mhm.
being said, it's like, how do you overlook the fact that we got so many women who just don't want to, to me, it's like, just chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you find the right guy, you'll put in that work. And we hear a lot of women say that, but kind of find out a lot of women nowadays just don't, want to do that. You know what I mean? So for you being a woman, and I
Mhm.
remember, seeing some of the videos, and you had me rolling, like when you be when you say some of the stuff you say, like especially calling out dudes that be simp. He's definitely simping. So for you,
Mhm.
how was it, personally hearing and feeling the way you do about, there are women out there that may do a good brother wrong, but then you got this guy who has a large platform telling brothers, like, hey, the best way to save the community is wifing up single mothers. So what was your thoughts on that
Oh,
initially when
oh
you
my,
heard him say that?
oh my God. Oh, when I first heard Boy said that, it really angered me.
Right, right.
I this man, and I don't understand why. No, it's like nobody really. Am I the only one who just heard him say black men are predators because they don't want to um, wife up a single?
Mm,
Like they could mess around with her, but them not wanting to wife her, that makes them a predator. Like, do you know what a predator is?
for real.
Like, that right there really bothered me. And I'm like, no one cares what he just said. They don't hear that. And
Now, mind you, this the same
that's
guy
what
that was
really got me.
crapping on Lizzo like every other video at that. That's what tripped me out. That he even had the nerve to say that about us, and he was going in on Lizzo heavy.
Mhm. Yeah, I did not like those comments he made. One thing about this, for the people who love Boyce so much and they like to come and argue about it and everything, I'll say this: what Boyce made, his decision that he made for himself, that's fine. That's his business. But what you don't do is go around and try to get the rest of the community to adopt your standard, which is not helpful for us. The best way to help the black community is not to go marry some single mothers. The way to help the black community is to teach women how to not become single mothers in the first place, how to
And
how to make sure that they're being a better woman so they can attract a better man. To make sure they don't do things out of order. Like you're supposed to marry before you carry. So do you choose the right person to marry? Then once you marry that person and once you're with that person, that's when you have the babies. That's when you have the family. Teaching women how to check their attitudes so they can get along with the man. So they're not getting baby breaking up or the relationship is not working. Teaching them how to submit to a man. To submit to a man, to have respect for a man. Basic respect. They don't even have respect for any, to have respect for a man. Most women today, especially our modern women, they don't need a man. They think men are they can just get along in this world without men because they can go to school, we can get jobs, we can get all kind of things. Back in the day, my grandma had to have a man.
Mm.
She can move throughout the world without one. She couldn't get a credit card. She couldn't go jump in her car and drive somewhere. My granddaddy had to come pick her up. So now that modern women, they have these new luxuries, have the new privileges, and they don't use those privileges to be able to help their family or make their family better. They use it in order to come in. They're doing the opposite, which is drawing the wedge even further between the man and the woman. So when Boyce is going around telling people this, it really upsets me when he's doing that. I'm like, why are you doing this? You know, I want people talking about you being a go ahead and put this lady and her kids, don't show them to the world.
Right.
Don't talk and don't go around telling black women who they need to be with. Black men, don't go around telling black men who they need to be with. You know, that's a bad deal. He obviously does black men. If you like black men, you willing them to go and invest in another man's baby. That's a simp. You wouldn't be telling them to do that. Especially when he himself, what did he own child? Most of the time when you have these guys, by the way, when they get into these relations, women with kids, they won't even have a relationship with their own kids. Now, how do you think his biological kids feel about that breakdown? That you got him over here with some other woman taking care of some other man's kids, but he don't even care where they are. That's hypocritical, you know? Like, did you stay in your kid's life? No, you could have helped the black community by when he had a kid. He could have went in and stayed with that woman. That should have been his wife. Instead of following behind some woman years later who obviously dissed him. She didn't want him. Now she want him. She hit the wall. She had option. And she got 3 babies. So what else is she supposed to do? So she wants you now, but she really don't want you. But yeah.
Man, no, it's okay. It's okay. I totally understand. But thank you. You took the words out of my mouth. Uh, I feel like what's so sad, with Boyce is he wants to be able to help the community and in his way, which would be cool with the finances and talk about certain things that get our attention. I think that's cool. But it's like he doesn't have real good sense on being like the tough love type brother. Like our community needs the tough love type brother right now, not the simp. Like that's where we are right now. We're simping so hard that a lot of women don't respect it. Like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You think you just gonna be so nice, just like you said with Monique. She said, about the bonnet thing, real nice and loving. But black women were still ticked off. We even seen brothers wearing bonnets talking about I support my sisters wearing no shower caps. And I was like, what like are we living in a different universe right now or something like that? Like who does that? You know what I'm saying? So I think like I said, God bless them on their union. But I agree with you. Like he need to stop trying to tell people what will help the community, especially if you're a financial advisor or analyst. What sense does that make to get with women who have kids? You don't have kids. I personally feel if a person doesn't have kids, they should be with somebody who doesn't have kids in return and have their own kids. You know what I'm saying? Build their own empire. I think that makes sense. And speaking on that, what do you feel about Mr. Nick Cannon, Mr. Nicholas Loose Cannon, having about 8 babies with all these women, besides Mariah Carey, of course, that has nothing but an IG with a bunch of followers. They don't have no money. He's saying he did it because he has lupus and he wants to have a bunch of kids. But I see he keep putting kids and women that, God forbid, if anything happens to them today or tomorrow, guess what? There's no telling what they're going to do with that money that you leave for your kids. So how do you feel about a man like Nick Cannon just being out here, just not protecting his seed like he should?
Mm-hmm. When it came to Mariah Carey, I have no problem with that. Alfie had those kids while they were married. All these other thoughts, I don't understand what he's thinking. When I heard he was having this kid and that kid, I'm like, what in the world is going on with Nick? Like, you've done things the right way, basically. Why are you waiting for? I don't know how. I don't know on his health or what's happening. Why are you waiting now to make these foolish mistakes? But told I heard him talking to city girls. That's funny. The city girl gave him some advice like, "Why you having all them kids?" That was funny. But JT did. That was really funny to me. But she was right. JT was right. It's like, I can give you some advice. Stop having all these kids. But what will make him want to have all these kids? I don't understand it. I'm just not getting it. Man wants to have a legacy left, but what are you leaving? You're leaving a bunch of chaos. It's always a problem when a man passes away and he has multiple kids from multiple different women. That
Oh, you
is
know.
the worst situation ever. Because you have kids that's going to be fighting with each other, their parents, their mothers, and the kids. They're from the same household, so they don't for each other. Like the DMX
Mm.
situation. You have these kids over here trying to become administrators of his trust. And then you have another group of kids, outside kids that he on his wife and had with another woman. They're trying to go against those two daughters are trying to go three sons that came out of his marriage. And then
Mm.
you have another kid over here doing it, and you have a girlfriend over here who wants to be it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a
Oh,
struggle. So even if you have all the money, you're just leaving a mess behind for everybody to be fighting. These people don't even like that. How can they know each other if you're having these different women? They really have no connection besides you. Well, it's a mess. I don't like it, honestly.
yeah. It's crazy because you got a point. I've seen those type of funerals where come to find out such and such got this woman pregnant, this woman pregnant, kids over here, kids over there. Sometimes you don't even see it at the funeral. Sometimes you find it years down the line what happened. And like I said, in my own personal life,
Hmm.
with my biological father, he did that stupid mess. So I ended up meeting my older sisters because they came looking for me when they found out. He never told them about me. So my older sisters came and found me when I was 18. Now he still walks around, the city and stuff like that. So when I see him, I just shake my head like, man, you a damn shame. You're the reason why so many black men have to work extra harder to prove that they're not what the stereotype is of our image. So him doing that is sickening because it's like, brother, all right, I understand what you're saying with your situation. You don't want to get married again. Fine. But to go and just be knocking up all these different women, and doggone well, like the only thing they're good for is what they gave you already. Like, you know what I mean? That's the highest honor that you're willing to get from them. So it's sad because it's like this. I look at Nick as an intelligent brother, a hustler, great business minded and good spirit, you know what I mean? But then to do this, I'm thinking maybe he's doing it because, nobody's never looked at Nick Cannon like, oh, y'all better watch out. Don't say nothing about Nick. He'll hurt you. So maybe it's like he's trying to show his manhood by having kids and sleeping with all these different women. Cause I see a lot of brothers do that craziness too. So maybe it could be,
Hmm.
something like that. Yeah. It could be something like that.
Yeah.
So and one more thing. I wanted to ask you a couple things. I want to hold you too late. I know we kind of came in late or whatever. But
Hmm.
real quickly, I wanted to get to Kevin Samuels, right? So everybody thinks that he just have all these followers and echo chamber when it comes to men and guys like me that listen to him. We just disrespect women and we're misogynistic or whatever. But I wanted to talk about things because I remember me and you had a conversation in the chat one time when I was saying a couple things I didn't agree with him on. So I want to talk about that. So one of the things um I would say with the whole getting married in 6 months to a whole year, I don't agree with that. especially with how people are nowadays, you
Mhm.
don't want to just jump in head first to something like that. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. And then the other thing I disagree with him on is when he went to Vlad TV. I get it. We hear all the time you got to do what you got to do to make it. And then when you make it, then things will turn around. But we see in our community, we have a lot of brothers and sisters that have sold us out once they made it. So that's what I disagree. I still respect
Mhm.
his content and the things that he talk about. But those are the two things I disagree with. So I want to get your opinion on things that you disagree with, so people know, like, hey, we are human. We don't agree with everybody. So what are a couple things you disagree with when it comes to Kevin Samuels?
Well, I would say about Vlad. I'm not a supporter of Vlad. Um, I don't I don't watch his. I've watched his content in the past, but after recognizing his pattern, after hearing from people who worked with him, on how he really felt about Black people, the disrespect to Dr. Sabi, the disrespect to Minister Farrakhan, that not a supporter of Vlad. I never will be. As far as Kevin Samuels and his comments on marriage, that is something with you on. And I think Kevin is starting to change that. I don't think he's pushing this whole 6 months thing anymore. Or maybe it is, I'm not sure, but it seems like he's changing a little bit. Maybe he realized are interested in getting married to a person in 6 months. What I can say is when it comes to marriage, he said these days, this is not 1950 or 1960. Back then, wives were women, they were groomed to,
Right.
those women back then, they were domesticated. They knew how to do things. They knew how to sew. They knew how to plant garden and plant crops and food. They knew how to take care of their children. They knew how to cook. They knew how to keep a house clean and manage the house. They were not a woman that we have. So my grandmother getting married in, I don't know, a year or however long it was. I'm sure it was a short period of time. That's different from your modern woman today. Your modern woman today, they can't have a relationship for a year, most of them. Most of their longest relationship is 2 years or less.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're so in touch with men and what men want. You can't go marrying, whether she has kids or not. If she has no kids, she has education, she has a job, all this other crazy stuff. Even if she has all of that, she may not. That doesn't make her. So
True.
you can't marry someone in 6 months and then give them access to all of your resources, all of your assets, have the power to weaponize by the system to be able to take that stuff from you. You don't hurry, and not just marriage. You don't hurry up and give her. Like, you have to watch people for a period of time and make sure that person. I'm not saying you're testing them, but you are examining them and making sure that you're choosing the right person to give them that much, to give them your name, to give them that power. Like marriage today, it's like giving the woman power. So yeah, I disagree with whole, marrying months, marrying a year, the whole marrying in 2 years. I'm telling you, like, not know people these days. The crop and this model of women, there's no other woman you've ever seen. So those same rules they just don't, unfortunately, they just don't apply anymore. You can't go around me. I mean, I just disagree with I do believe that we do need families and we do need marriages, but I don't think that men and women should be rushed. I know a lot of women too wanted to get married, or they got married. They wanted to have a wedding, but they didn't like their husband. They didn't even really like their husband. Wanted to literally take pictures so they can put it on the Instagram, and so they could compete with the other women on the internet that's showing off their bridesmaid, their girl's bride's trip, or whatever you call that stuff, the bridal shower or their red party. Do this stuff for show. But when it comes to real duties of being a wife, they're uninterested in that stuff. Earlier, like what I thought well, getting into this content earlier that I'm in on YouTube. One thing bothered me so much, like even coming up, like I would see a lot of the modern women acting a certain way when it came having a certain mindset when it came to their boyfriends. They would even laugh at me and tell me, "Oh, why are you doing that? Why are you cooking? Or why are you cleaning up? What you trying to be? Like something is wrong with me, for what I did and my duties and how I handled myself. Like something's wrong with me for doing that." Now, same ones, they're in their 30s. They have a baby number 2, and have their success. They didn't, but the only thing they could wrap their fingers around is, oh, we went to college, or oh, we got a good job. But now you see those women coming around. They come around to people like Kevin Samuels show, and they're like, "Oh, I messed up. I need to figure out what's wrong. Oh, I'm no longer a modern woman anymore. I'm a traditional woman." No, you're not. If you a baby mama, you're not a traditional woman.
Facts.
If you don't have a right now that you're married to, or you've been in a long-term relationship with, and that you've been yourself to, you're not a traditional woman. Don't come over here and try to make it seem like you one of the traditional women and you've been in this world. No, you now I commend you for wanting to change. You should change. But what you can't do is don't try to come wear this uniform when you're not really that woman. You have to prove yourself to be that man. The way you prove it is by submitting yourself to a man, doing that in your life, like reflecting that in your life. Be this, modern woman to say, oh, that's just like the ones who, when realized that being a feminist wasn't a good idea. So they said, oh, I'm not a feminist, but they are feminists. I've had so many arguments with friends on this. I'll tell them, you know what? I had one friend, oh, I hate feminists. Feminists are horrible. I'm like, you're a feminist. No, I'm not. Just because you didn't say you're not a feminist doesn't mean that you're not a feminist. I see how you move. I see how you talk. I know your mindset. You are a feminist. So you can say I'm not that, but your results, they prove, or your actions in your life, they prove that. And a woman ain't no baby mama.
I know that's right.
A traditional single, because a real traditional, they get pulled.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because the last thing I wanted to talk about real quick was the whole Rachel Nichols and Maria Taylor situation. So to me, this was a perfect example of why sisters have to be careful. And this is how me and my partner talk on our show. I ain't gonna do that while you here. I'm gonna be respectful. But this is why we're like, you got to be careful about some white devils, because the sisterhood women, we're together, blase squaze, and then next thing you know, audio comes out of, oh, she's a affirmative action hire. So how do you feel about that, where sisters want to be on this whole feminist trip, or I'm a black feminist, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to these white women a lot of white women that they follow, when it comes down to them getting theirs, they're going to kick you to the curb, just like, Amy Schumer and Monique. When Amy Schumer got her, she didn't come over to the Netflix and say, hey, you need to make sure you give Monique the same thing you give me, because I'm standing with my sister. So how do you feel about this situation where you see where certain white women, when they get theirs, they kick black women to the curb?
White women, they have been fooling black women for decades. They have black women really believing that they're a woman first, that they are women, and that's their life, their life duty to support women. This is why you have so many women who don't want to tell the truth about women and men in relationships, because it's all in the name of making sure that we stay on this girl code or this sister code. No, you're black first, a feminist. You're not supposed to be a feminist. You're not supposed to be talking about a woman's issue with or your white homegirls. Today, you are a black woman. You're black first
Facts.
before any of that. And you're not going to be a person who can just go there and talk about woman stuff and then come over here. It's like that. You have to recognize where you fall. When it comes to Rachel, she is absolutely clear about where we're going to stand. She may come and talk about woman stuff at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, she's a white woman. You are not. You're any black woman that's following some white feminists, they're being fooled. Like, did you not see what they've done even when they first started this whole feminist movement? They went fighting, talking about patriarchy, or they call it patriarchy, and I can't even say it because it's so stupid. Like, they went fighting about being oppressed by men and all this other stuff. And then next thing you know, the same men they're talking about they're oppressed by their husbands, they went back home. And they went back home to do their traditional roles, while black women kicked their men. And then you even have some of these Beckys and these Karens. Well, Becky's first before they become a Karen. Then you have some of these Beckys that went and took. They're competing with you too against your men. They're competing against you for your men. Like, really? Like, I don't understand. I don't know how many stories or how much evidence we need to see. They're not for us. They're not for us. Let me tell you really quick. I just wanted to add this story in because you brought this up. I was watching a show. It was Fresh and Fit, and they kicked out these unruly black. This happened maybe like a month ago. They kicked out these unruly black women. Now these they should have been kicked out. I'm not taking up for them. Yeah, they were ratchet. Should have been kicked out. I mean, the security guards came here. They ain't do nothing. I'm like, why you still got these girls up in here? Like, wake somebody up by now and throw them out. But one thing I noticed while that whole situation was going on, the white girls, well, they look white. I think they're probably like white Latinos or something. So-called white girls and the others, they turned from this whole we're all the women against these two guys really quick. They started clowning them. Yep. If you go back and watch it, they having a ball, laughing at them. Oh, they're so good. They turned so quick. I'm like, where's the sister thing at? Turned really quick on them. I said, well, this is what happens. Black women turn on their men, they show their behinds, and you have these other women laughing because they see how ridiculous. They love it because it's just a great example of how this is happening in the real world with the relationships between black women. That's why I just really love that's the same thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that also we gotta be careful as brothers too, because I notice, and I'm talking about for the good sisters, you know what I mean? Like, I notice, white guys, they gonna come do the same thing. For the brothers that don't treat good sisters right, and pay attention, like when you have a sister that I'm not talking about those swirlers who come back and disrespect all black men, because I be seeing some of them channels, they be like, don't have no babies by no black man, your child gonna be a bastard. And it's like, so you gonna sit there and tell me every black man is like this? So I ain't talking about those type of sisters, but you got a lot of sisters that's in that crossroads. And I think, that's where us as brothers, we got to be careful. Like with Nick Cannon, what he's doing. You got good sisters seeing that, and then they're going to be afraid and be kind of, cautious. Like, well, dang, if I mess with a decent, successful brother, is he going to just, knock me up and leave? Or does he have a bunch of babies? So I think we got to be careful as men as well on our image and how we treat our sisters as well. You know what I mean? Because, and that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you on, is to show like, yo, the stuff we say is not misogynistic. It's towards the black women that make our good sisters look wrong. You know what I mean? And look bad with the
Mhm.
shower caps. And I ain't saying, anything necessarily wrong with tattoos, but the tattoo on the neck, the face, forehead, nah, that is not cute. The back over your butt with the trend, no, that is not cute whatsoever. That's not cute.
Women shouldn't
But
have tattoos.
mm,
I know people don't like that, but I have tattoos.
I kind of agree with you. I mean, if somebody got a tattoo, it ain't nothing you can. I remember I was dealing with this one girl, matter of fact, and I knew we wasn't gonna make it. Soon as she said this, she wanted to get a tattoo on her thigh, and the area
Mm.
where her thigh was that she was talking about, it was too hot, and I'm like, so you think when I wanted to be involved, I was like, you think I'm going for that? I was like, there's no way you
Mhm.
not gonna want to show that off. Oh, I don't care. I'm not gonna show that off. I'm like, then why would you get a tattoo? So fast forward, I see her Facebook. She's always showing off that tattoo that on that thigh meat.
Mm.
So that I thank God I seen that red flag before she even got it in hardtail. So I agree with you. You know what I mean? Because if you get it, you gonna show
Mm.
it. What's the point of getting it then? You know what I mean? So
Not only
um,
that, I mean, mhm.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
She got to, like, why? Usually, women who get tattoos like that, they're influenced by other women who get tattoos like that. The tattoo on the thigh normally gets the tattoo on the thigh. Them your strippers.
Right, right.
So, she wants to have that ratchet gutter stripper by getting it through and showing it off online. So that shows you right, big red flag. Not only that, like, wrong with you.
Mm.
It's a problem. It's a reason. Why do you want to do that? Is it lack of attention? Do you not have enough self-worth? Do you not, like, it's something? I'm not saying that's what was wrong with her. I'm saying it's just a red flag and it's wrong. Usually women who get tattoos like that, they're unruly. They can be disrespectful. They can be masculine. They just don't make. I'm not saying all women, because I know everybody with their tattoos, they get mad. I'm not saying every, but I'm just saying it's a red flag. That's all.
Yeah, I guess the only good thing I can say about it, at least the tattoo say it's blessed. I guess that's a good thing. She's showing her love for Jesus on her thigh, I guess. But but it's all good.
Mm.
I'm
If
like
she
I
was
said,
showing her love for Jesus, she wouldn't have had
I'm
that, because Jesus won't
real talk.
want her to have a tattoo.
Oh yeah, you definitely not supposed to defile your vessel.
Exactly. So I don't know how she's showing love for, in a way that he didn't ask for it. That's not how you do it.
Right. Right. See, and that's what I like about you. You always keep it real, you keep it 100. So I definitely thank you for the time that you was able to give us for the show. And hopefully I can have you on again. So gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. But before we go, hopefully you can just hang back for a second after I end the live. I wanted to ask you about something. Um so
Mhm.
once again, I appreciate you coming on. So, guys, you know what I mean, for the people that was here, we appreciate you. For the ones that's gonna come back and watch the replay, yo, this has been a great episode. So y'all definitely gotta watch the replay. I'm gonna watch it again after I get out before I get on the live for the other one with my partner HD. So we're gonna go ahead, bid
Thank you
y'all good
so much
night.
for having me.
No problem. I appreciate you. Like I said, we got to have you on here again. Like you definitely tell it like it is. Like you make me get that vibe like how my grandmother was. Like she told it how it was, and a lot of
Mhm.
young women didn't like that. And she used to be on my mother coattail all the time, and I used to be laughing at her. Like, cause my grandmother is an old lady from Georgia, and you know how they is. You know what I'm saying? The
Mhm.
old school, not now, but the old school women. But yeah, hang back
Mhm.
because I want to ask you something, and I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. So y'all, this was another
Okay.
episode of Opposite from the Norm 18. You know what I mean? So it's only gonna keep getting better. So we'll holler at y'all again. Don't forget 11 p.m. tonight. Me and my partner HD, we going live. So we'll holler at y'all.